So we're still mixing the egg white and sugar mixture because it has not quite reached the texture that we want it to be. You can see that it's taking quite a while, so even with your hand mixer, you have to be patient. So I increased the speed a little because I'm actually getting impatient. So you can see that it's much thicker than the way we started. And you'd also be careful not to overwhip it. If you overwhip it, the egg would separate and it will turn into something else. But it's not quite there where we want it to be. So I'm turning it off so I can check. So you can see that it has soft peaks. Soft peaks is when the mixture doesn't sink into... You see the way it's just dropping and it's not just sinking and disappearing into the rest of it. It's making a little bit of... It's standing on its own. It's thick. So I'm just going to whip it a little bit more. Just for a bit. And then we start adding our egg yolks. So you don't whisk it too much when you're adding your egg yolks. You just whisk it enough. I left my egg yolks for a bit. That's why it formed a crust. But that doesn't affect the cake. I added all the egg yolks and mixed it very well. So I've turned off the mixer and we're going to start mixing by hand now. So I'm using a plastic spatula to check if my egg yolk has mixed into the white properly. So this is the milk. Make sure to use low-fat milk. Don't let your milk be too thick. So we're going to start by adding our flour. Always sift your flour. So we don't use normal flour for this cake. We use cake flour. So we add the flour bits by bits in 3 additions. I added the first one, then I whisk, and you whisk it gently. Don't whisk it so fast because you don't want to deflate the egg whites. And then I added the third part of the flour now. I'm just going to whisk it gently, mix it gently with my spatula, because I don't want to deflate the mixture. This recipe can be made without any addition of baking powder or other rising agents. The egg white is the rising agent. As you see how we whipped it to be very fluffy. So now I'm adding some of the thick batter into my milk. I'm going to mix it with my milk and my oil. I'll mix it so that this would also assist in not letting the mixture to deflate. So I'll mix it together, then I'll add it to the other mixture. So that's my oil, milk, and the butter. So I'm just going to mix it in gradually. Scraping off the remaining from the container. So you add a few drops of flavor, just a few drops, or 1/4 teaspoon of flavor. We don't add too much because we don't want the mixture to have too much water content. If you're not confident, after the first trial of making your sponge cake mix and you're not confident with the way it rises, you can add a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder to the mixture while you're adding your flour. But I do mine without adding the baking powder. So you see how creamy and smooth and silky the batter is. It's very nice, soft and fluffy. And you can tell we're going to have an amazing cake with this. So I mixed in the flavor.